on. Did y'all forget about these cartoon regular show? Like, subscribe, and hit that post notification.
Cast that works at the park, regular show has had hundreds of unique and different characters that have come and gone, with some only appearing one time in the series to others that were once in the main cast but phased out over time. These are 15 of the most forgotten characters in a regular show. Starting with Thomas, who has the craziest plot twist to his story arc in this video. Before being revealed that he was a Russian spy, Thomas was originally an intern at the park. He first debuted in season 4's episode 1, Exit 9B. Possibly
the crazy thing about Thomas is he would have to Russian spy, but I still don't get why Thomas came to the park in the first place. Like, you could interrogate anything. You can interrogate I can't remember that the missing guy, but you could interrogate any other park. But you came to that specific park for something. It's something. Why?
He was to start an internship at the park.
Why? It is. You can't.
But even after all the chaos, Thomas decided to keep his internship when Benson thought he would quit after everything that happened on his first day. He became a regular in almost every episode for 4 seasons straight. Some with speaking roles and others where he didn't say a word, seeming like a normal kid, even participating in the goofy antics that the main cast got into every episode. But there was something strange about Thomas. The writers began to throw small foreshadows on who Thomas really was when he said this.
Oh, hello, Mom. Oh, yeah. Everything's great.
What's he saying?
No, exactly.
That's why they were trying to figure out
what the heck is going on?
It was
understood.
That's the cool.
What seemed like in history. Season 6
the order came from free.
After explaining that the Russians were here to steal the park, fly it to Russia and blow it up, the park crew and Nikolai begin to stop the Russians because that's not what he wanted. They successfully beat them and stopped the war, but what happens to Thomas now that they know his identity? Benson offers him a full-time position at the park that is truly a heartfelt gesture, but Thomas explains he can't accept it because he's now a fugitive on the run in both the US and Russia. They all say their goodbyes and he leaves. We get Thomas's / Nikolai's final appearance in the show when he shows up in disguise to attend Muscle Man's wedding. That is a W, friend. After this occasion, he's never to be seen again.
Hold up.
Nikolai's final appearance in the show when he shows up in disguise to
See, I wouldn't even notice that. I didn't even know he came to Muscle Man's wedding. But that's the dumbest disguise ever. Like, you could have been anything. Like, if I didn't pause this video right here, I wouldn't even notice that. But at this moment, everybody can tell that you, Thomas. There's no way they couldn't tell it was you. Like, if the park people, I thought about the main character, right? Didn't know it was you, then they're dumb. They're dumb to not know it was you in that.
Ferguson, also known as GBF, has the funniest character arc on this list that not many people remember. He first debuted in season 2's episode 7, High Score, as Mordecai and Rigby begin to beat the high score on the video game Broken Bones at the coffee shop. The original record holder, GBF, shows up as they're about to break it. After Mordecai and Rigby challenge GBF to a Broken Bones game to settle who can beat the record, a fight breaks out when Rigby and Mordecai actually get close to breaking it. GBF starts cheating. In the end, he couldn't stop the two from beating his record, and bro was so hurt, this happened. Yes, he actually exploded, but that wasn't the last time we saw Garrett Bobby Ferguson inside of regular show. In season 4's episode 1, Exit 9B, we see the return of GBF Sr. when his son GBF Jr. creates a highway through the park to open up a portal to the fiery center center of the earth to not only bring his dad back, but everyone Mordecai and Rigby has ever defeated. A brawl breaks out between the park and their friends and all of the past villains, but thankfully, the park crew ends up winning, sending GBF and everyone else back through the portal. Throughout the rest of the series, GBF is mentioned in cameos and Easter eggs, like in the episode Expert or Liar, where he acts as a video game boss, or even in the episode of Video Game Wizards, where his head is a statue outside of the building, which I believe was a video game building. A pretty nice callback. Canonically, GBF is dead, but let's take a look at a character that everyone forgot was born dead. Thomas. No, hold on, not the Russian spy intern that we just covered. Trust me, I thought the same thing.
I need you to do me a huge favor and babysit Thomas tonight.
Isn't he, like, in college?
Not that Thomas, Death's Thomas. Can you help me out?
Sorry to hear that.
Thomas the baby is Death's son. We've seen Death quite a lot throughout the series, especially dealing with the two idiots who barely escaped dying every...
We've seen Death in, like, there, so you can't tell me Death is not, like, a character that you won't forget. Like, you can't forget about Death. Like, you see Death in there in most episodes, but his son, you probably forget about his son.
Single episode, but there were a couple of episodes specifically where we got introduced to his son, who, even though as a baby, is 300 years old. Thomas first debuted in season 3's 27th episode, Dead at 8, where Mordecai and Rigby are tasked with watching Death's son while he and his wife go out for a date night because the two accidentally killed Muscle Man. Mordecai and Rigby must have Thomas asleep by the time his parents get back home in order to keep up their end of the deal. But Lil Bro said that ain't happening. Thomas goes on a rampage, destroying the entire house while they try to stop him, and when all hope seems lost, they actually get him to fall asleep. I mean, he did destroy everything, but at least he's asleep. I see why they couldn't find a babysitter. It seems like this is normally what that demon child does every night. Unfortunately, Thomas does appear in one final episode, where this time Mordecai and CJ are stuck babysitting. Thomas again in season 5's 27th episode, Playdate. They take him to the park. You know where any normal kid would want to go. He wants to go to the underworld. Alright, after causing tons of trouble and getting chased by a horde of demons, CJ, Thomas, and Mordecai...
Baby Thomas, he think being bad is fun. He think if he destroy the whole planet, kill people, and murder people, he get joy, fun, laughter out of it. How you get joy, fun, and laughter out trying to murder people? Like, you might it all, but you gotta say it. He's just a baby, but a baby should not be 300 years old. Isn't your grandpa 300 years old? In our great grandpa or grandma that old? Who was born before our grandparent? Who was born before our mother? Right? Our grandparents were born before our mother and parents. But who was born before our grandparents? Who was born before them? Who born after them?
I head back to the mortal world, and when they return, Thomas gets knocked out by a bowling ball, successfully putting him to sleep before the parents return. Thankfully, that was the final time we saw that demon baby, but he's not the only one who tends to lurk in the shadows. The Wizard is a character not many people notice in most episodes. He subtly would lurk in the background, in the shadows, or even in plain sight. We just never paid attention. He first debuts in season...
Catch that? Comment below if you remember these cartoon
the power. When Mordecai and Rigby put a hole in their bedroom wall, Rigby comes up with a solution to use a magical keyboard he stole, and in a flashback is the very first time we see the Wizard. Now, initially as a kid, I didn't notice the Wizard was the person Rigby stole the keyboard from because it was a subtle 10-second appearance. But this is where everything changes. The next major appearance we see the Wizard in is season 3's episode 4, Terror Tales of the Park. Mordecai and Rigby are out trick-or-treating when Rigby stumbles upon a creepy house. Being Rigby, he walks up to the house and begins to knock on the door and ask for candy. As a 24-year-old man, by the way, when he gets no answer at the door, he begins to do what any logical person would. He walks over at the house. But unfortunately, this wasn't just any house. It belonged to the Wizard.
You're going to pay.
Vowing to seek revenge on Rigby, the Wizard puts a hex on him that begins to turn him into a house. But before he does this, he begins killing his friends one by one until there is no one left. Pretty brutal. At the end, the wizard drops a giant egg on Rigby's house to teach him a lesson, but since it was a Terror Tales episode, it was all a story made up by Rigby himself. The wizard did show up more throughout the show, but mainly as a background character, such as in the episode Skip Strikes, where he's on a bowling team with Death. We see the wizard in his final appearance in the episode titled Dodge This, where he's an opponent against the park members in dodgeball. Bro has way too many sports activities, but the wizard isn't the only one who gets active. Do you remember Low Five Ghost is the brother of park member High Five Ghost. He first appeared in season 2's episode 17. See you there. After Benson tells Mordecai and Rigby Muscle Man is throwing a surprise costume party for High Five Ghost, begged Muscle Man to invite them, but he wasn't having it. From trying to bribe him to apologizing for everything they've ever done, the two still weren't invited, so they decided to crash the party instead. After being denied by the bouncer, here is where we get introduced to Low Five Ghost for the very first time.
Happy birthday, Fives!
What?
Whoa, sorry. We thought you were someone else.
After being turned, Mordecai and Rigby crash the costume party and run into an extremely worried High Five Ghost. You see, it may have been easy to turn into one, but High Five explains if they don't turn back soon, they'll be stuck as ghosts forever. Their father tells Mordecai and Rigby that they have to scare somebody in order to return to normal. So they decide to scare Muscle Man, since he doesn't know they're at the party. They then jump out and spook him, causing him to have a heart attack and die.
What's he doing?
Oh, he's having a heart attack. We need a doctor!
Everyone back up.
Well, turns out it was all actually just a prank. What a way to get introduced to a character, I must say. We then see...
This is the reason why you don't make Muscle Man mad. When you make Muscle Man mad, Muscle Man goes to scream constant. That is the most extreme way to get back at you. And you feel like you are the big donkey for you want mess with Muscle Man. Don't ever mess with someone who's going to go to the lowest to the low and even deeper than what you did to get back at you.
Low Five and a couple more good appearances, such as the Thanksgiving special, where the park crew has their entire family over, and other episodes like the postcard, where we see Low Five working his job as a cop. We see him in his final appearance in season 7's episode 13, Benson's Pig, where Low Five Ghost was arresting a pig or something. This man has the craziest appearances, but after this, we never saw him again. But I will say his appearance didn't nearly cause as much damage as the characters coming up next. The geese by far are the most destructive characters on this list. With only 2 appearances, they've destroyed the planet numerous times and caused billions in damages. They first appeared in season 4's 19th episode, A Bunch of Full-Grown Geese, tasked with getting rid of the geese out of the park. Mordecai and Rigby have a hard time because these aren't any ordinary birds. After trying various methods to get rid of them, this happens. Those are robotic geese. It got so bad, they had to call the baby ducks. After refusing to leave, it becomes all-out war. The baby ducks turn into a giant man duck, and the geese turn into a giant robot and start brawling through the park. Unfortunately, the geese start winning, so the ducks, Mordecai, and Rigby pull out the secret weapon and end up winning the war, while also destroying everything in the park. But hey, at least the geese are gone.
Hey.
Mordecai and Rigby!
Hey, Benson!
We got rid of the geese. Yeah, and half the park along with them.
Or so we thought. The geese's final appearance happens in the special episode, Brilliant Century Duck Crisis, where, yes, you guessed it, another war happens. But this time, they don't destroy just the park, but the entire city, planet, hell, even the moon. But what actually happened to the geese? Well, technically in Brilliant Century Duck Crisis, they were never defeated like they were in their first appearance. Mordecai, Rigby, and the ducks were actually losing. The geese decided to stop fighting when they realized they were being conned. So, in their final appearance, they are still alive somewhere in the series. We just never saw them again. But we can't say the same about the X.
Wait a minute. So you saying the geese are still in the regular show series, the regular show franchise? We just not know where. But the geese did actually stop the fight and actually gave up because they realized they were actually getting conned and getting used. That's the only reason why the geese stopped the whole fight and gave up. Because who wants to fight with something knowing that you're fighting for no reason? You're really getting conned by a con artist who's using you just because.
Excellent Knight. The Excellent Knight is another character who leaves your mind the minute he's off screen. For someone who's appeared in numerous episodes, he's a man of few words. His first appearance was in season 3's episode 17. Excellent. One of the most iconic regular show episodes, yet somehow people never mention the Knight. After seeing a trucker hat he just had to win, Rigby enters an extreme eating food competition, the Excellent Challenge.
Dude, you're allergic to eggs.
Rigby, being Rigby, he doesn't just lose the challenge, no. He nearly dies trying to win this trucker hat, and in order to restore him back to normal, Mordecai takes up the challenge.
If you alert, don't do it. Like, I'll be highly allergic to, let's say I'm highly allergic to cats, right? And I'll be around cats, my whole face start puffing up, I start sneezing crazy, and I can't stop until it going. Like, you can be allergic to certain animal food too, but sometimes certain things can't actually kill you. It depends.
For him, after going through intense training and coming up with tactics to beat the challenge, he actually completes it.
They didn't want him to actually complete it.
Sorry, sir.
But they were just trying to help. They were just trying to help him.
Oh no.
Here is where Mordecai faces the ultimate test of greed, and the person to present it to him is none other than the Excellent Knight. After Mordecai chooses the trucker hat over the gold and returns Rigby to normal, we don't see the Knight again for a while. We then see him again working various jobs in episodes such as Ace Balthazar Lives, Gamers Never Say Die, and working as a counter clerk in the Garage Door episode where he's a store worker. He's that one friend who has a new job every week. Unlike the other characters on this list, although forgettable, the Knight was one of the only ones to make it to the end of the series. His final appearance was in the episode Ice Tapes, where he was the keeper of the tapes. Overall, a solid character. We can't say the same for the evil vending machine, Gene. Gene is basically the opposite of Vincent. He runs a rival park, East Pines, to that other park that we know. Vincent is a gumball machine, Gene is a vending machine. He is the living opposite to Benson, and it's apparent, and that's what made him forgettable. He first appeared in season 3's episode 35, Prankless. When both parks get into a crazy intense prank war, we see just how far Gene is willing to go and how ruthless he is as an antagonist. He appears in more episodes throughout the series, such as season 4's Christmas Special or season 8's Welcome to Space. His final appearance was in regular show The Movie, with a very minor role. In almost every episode he appeared in, he was the villain, but somehow so forgettable. Kind of like Muscle Man's mom. Now, I know what you're thinking. Not an episode goes by without Muscle Man mentioning his mom as a joke anytime he can. So, how is she forgettable? We were first introduced to her in season 6, episode 24, Terror Tales of the Park 4. When telling scary stories goes wrong and Muscle Man screams out, "My mom," the park crew start to realize that they've never even met or have seen his mom. So, they take a trip to do just that. On the way there, we get a classic story time of different horror stories from the gang until they finally arrive at her house.
Whatever, dude. We're here.
This is where your mom lives?
Are you surprised?
Let's just meet her and get out of here. This place is creeping me out.
The gang goes inside only to get jump scared by Muscle Man claiming it was a prank until his mom actually shows up as a jump scare to end the episode.
You know who else likes scaring people?
Yes, this is the very first time we've ever seen the famous Muscle Mom. She then only appears one more time throughout the entire series in the episode Dumped at the Altar, which is where we see her at her son's wedding, but here she's normal size and not scary at all, unlike the last episode. Muscle Mom's first appearance was the second craziest family member introduction, right next to Skips' cousin. Quips is the cousin to Skips. While Skips is very likable and quiet, Quips is the exact opposite. He tells bad jokes, won't stop talking, and is just all around annoying. We first see him in season 4's episode 16, Quips.
Quips is like one of those characters that's just annoying. He's like one of those characters that just get on your skin, and you just have that little tick or that little pest that won't leave you alone until you end his life, or you just erase him from society and history forever.
Now at the park, Skips tells the crew he's invited his cousin Quips, to which they all get annoyed because they are sick of his jokes. The minute he arrives, he does this.
You guys all remember my cousin Quips?
Hey, Benson. Nice to see ya. Speaking of see ya,
what did one ocean say to the other ocean? See ya later.
Once game night starts, everyone decides to leave because Quips won't stop telling bad jokes, but Skips forces Mordecai and Rigby to stay due to them owing him one for saving them so many times. They get back to playing the game along with Skips' other friends, and when Quips goes too far with the jokes, things go left.
Move, Quips.
While trapped inside of a cube, Skips is forced to tell Quips that his jokes aren't funny and he has to stop. Unfortunately, Quips doesn't. He decides to switch from a professional comedian to a kid's birthday party entertainer, which we see in the final appearance in the episode of Bachelor Party Zingo. Then we never saw him again, and I'm just assuming it's because he wasn't a liked character and super easy to forget. He isn't timeless, but there is one person on this list who is. Father Time is a character most people don't even know was in the show, even though I personally believe he's had some impactful roles. He just wasn't used enough. His first appearance was in the episode It's Time. When Mordecai decides to ditch Rigby to attempt to hang out with Margaret, Rigby gets back at Mordecai by asking Margaret out before he can, and this does not go well.
20 minutes till my...
The crazy thing
Are
about
you sure it's only 20 minutes?
Whole thing, right, is Rigby was just not being jealous of Mordecai, but Rigby was teasing Mordecai, saying that you took forever. It's like, when you look at a regular show, right, Mordecai took forever to ask out Margaret. Like, who does that? How you take almost the whole entire regular show franchise to even ask out one girl? And then, when he didn't even have a chance to ask out Margaret, he went for CJ. And the only time he only went for CJ because Margaret wouldn't feel him. Not Margaret wouldn't feel him. Margaret broke up with him because she had to go to some school or something. And she put school over their relationship. That kind of messed up. But you gotta see where Mordecai was going to. And then he ended up going with CJ.
What did you do with my battery?
It could be 20 minutes till your date. Or maybe it's half an hour. Or maybe you already missed it.
Mordecai begins to change and remove all the clocks in the house to make Rigby late for his date with Margaret. This has to be the pettiest friendship I've ever seen. Mordecai even goes out of his way to microwave all the clocks in the house. He could have smashed them on the ground or something, you know, normal, but no. He microwaved the clocks, and little did he know this would be a big mistake.
Anything but to microwave.
With them being trapped in a time stream, Mordecai gets mad at Rigby for bragging in his face about his date, and he straight up kills his best friend. Once he makes it to the end, we finally get our first look at Father Time himself, who gives Mordecai advice on his friendship with Rigby and also brings him back to life.
Rigby!
We don't see Father Time again for the rest of the series. His final appearance would be in regular show The Movie. When Rigby messes up and travels to the end of time, the roles reverse and he has to give advice to Rigby instead of Mordecai. An impactful character, but forgettable considered would be in regular show The Movie. When Rigby messes up...
When did regular show have a movie? I can't understand, like, regular show have a movie? When did they have a movie? Did I miss something? I gotta go and figure out how that even possible.
And travels to the end of time, the roles reverse and he has to give advice to Rigby instead of Mordecai. An impactful character. When Mordecai and Rigby challenge Muscle Man and Fives to a game of basketball, they lose so badly that it triggers the god of basketball to ride down from the sky and coach them so they could win their next game.
These jokers are a lost cause.
Not to me, they're not. I'm the best basketball coach that ever lived.
Only Mordecai and Rigby know how to turn something so simple into something world. But they did win, so I'll give it to them. From here, we only get a few more appearances from the god himself, mainly in episodes where the gang needs a backup and epic fights, such as Exit 9B, or other basketball-related episodes, such as Bank Shot. The god of basketball's final appearance was in the episode Dodge This, the same episode the Wizard appeared in, where the two both played against the park crew in a game of dodgeball. He just does it all. That's only with 2 appearances. First debuted in season 1's episode 8, The Unicorns Have Got to Go. Mordecai buys cologne to impress Margaret, but the smell was so foul. Instead of attracting her, it attracted a group of unicorns. Talk about a sausage party. Bro cannot catch a break with women.
I'm over here. Oh, jeez.
What do you got there?
Dude time.
Oh, I knew it. Come out, bros.
All right, dude time.
The leader of the unicorns tells Mordecai he's willing to help him impress and win over Margaret, but instead, they decide to prank him and give him terrible dating advice. After spending all day with the terrible unicorns, Mordecai and Rigby turn to skits with help getting rid of them. They come up with a plan to host a drag racing competition, and this by far has to be the funniest ending to a character arc.
But what if they come back? They ain't coming back.
Unicorns then have their final appearance in the episode House Rules, where they had a small cameo just because of Benson's actual house rules. They quickly disappeared. Speaking of Benson, let's revisit the forgotten character that replaced him. Susan was a villain that surprisingly started out pretty normal, but was easily forgettable in her 2-time appearance. Debuting in season 2's episode 11, Benson Be Gone, Susan was introduced as Benson's replacement as the park manager. She wasn't tolerating anything. She was as strict as could be, and the crew hated her.
You two, get back to work!
For one,
Faster.
they can't do
And
nothing.
you sweep those stairs!
Like,
later in the episode, after Mordecai
with Susan, you gotta do everything spick and span, knee to a T, to a point. Like, you gotta have everything right in point. Like, when you working with Susan, you can't have nothing outward. You can't mess up nothing. And you can't have anything that is off. Because once you get off balance, or Susan kill you.
Rigby teaches Benson how to slack off. He gets used to it and eventually gets fired by Susan, leaving the rest of the employees in terrible hands. He eventually turns back to his old self after meeting a homeless man, but when he returns to the park, it's already too late. In order to get the park workers to all turn back into themselves, Benson begins forcing them to slack off, and it actually starts working, but little did he know, this would be a huge mistake. Yes, Susan just turned into a giant, and it's destroying the park and trying to kill her employees. The homeless man early in the episode helps stop Susan by throwing her into a hole where she's gone for most of the series, and Benson becomes park manager once again. Her final appearance was in the episode Exit 9B along with the rest of the villains that returned in the episode. But this final group are the only characters on this list to appear once in the entire show. The residents of Lollyland consists of 5 main characters: Pops, Anti-Pops, Kodravi Cranus, Echo Cranus, and Frivolite Cranus. I barely know how to pronounce their names. Their first and last appearance was in season 8's episode 27, The Regular Epic Battle Part 1. When visiting the planet Pops was originally born in, he runs into the other 3 main residents of Lollyland. They begin to explain why their planet is in ruins and who Pops actually is.